This podcast is part of the Game and Entertainment Network. Visit tgenetwork.net to find the latest episodes from all our shows.
It's time for AggroChat, the official podcast of the Tales of the Agronaut blog and stalwart gaming community, where we talk about stuff and things, and the stuff about the thing, and sometimes gaming. I'm Belgast, and let's start the show.
Hey folks, we had some significant issues with last night's show. When we got done and I started trying to piece it together, I noticed that there's massive amounts of feedback anytime I talk. However, the rest of the people seem to record fine. This morning I got up, tried to fix the audio, and it was just a no-go. By the time I tried to prune things out and tweak it, there just wasn't enough audio resolution left. So here's a disclaimer. I've been on Twitter this morning and folks told me to post Chipmunk Bell as is and just throw a statement out saying that's what's happening. So this is that statement. If you want to continue listening, you'll have episode 100 with hilarious scrambled version of me and everyone else normally as we talk about Undertale. However, if you don't want to, that's cool too. We'll probably end up re-recording this show at a later date. Anyway, hopefully you enjoy, because it sure as hell made my wife laugh like crazy when she listened to me. So, that's the thing.
Hey folks, it's that time again. Time for another episode of AggroChat. This is episode 100. And it also signals the switch to new voice software. So, tonight, my particularly slightly different sounding guests are Ashgar.
Hello.
Grace.
Hello.
Kodra.
Hi.
Pam.
Hello.
And Sam.
Hello.
So yeah, we're on a slightly different setup for recording. Our previous one was becoming measurably less stable. There's been a couple of podcasts that I had to knit together out of two parts of the podcast. So hopefully everything goes as well as we hope it will. Tonight, of course, is episode 100, which is kind of a cool thing that we've been doing this for, 2.5 years now?
Not
Something like
2 years.
Yeah,
Well,
almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years, yeah. So in April 5th or something like that, it's like our anniversary, so...
Which indicates that we've taken, a week off?
2 weeks off.
Yeah, we've taken 2 different weeks off, I think. Which is kind of cool. That's kind of an impressive little track record there. We probably should have taken more weeks off somewhere along the process. I think other podcasts do that more often, but yeah, we keep going. Tonight also signals the show for the March game of the month for the AggroChat Game Club, which was Undertale. Kodra, this is your pick.
Yup.
Set it up.
So, Undertale is, it's probably one of the best games I played in a couple of years. It's by far my favorite game from last year. And this is a game that lets me go through the game and solve problems in non-violent ways, while not sacrificing, in my opinion, the gameplay. So, it's still interesting. It's got a great story, a great cast of characters that I love, and it branches in at least a couple of interesting ways that I really appreciate, and there's all sorts of just great writing going everywhere in this. So much good writing. And so one of the things that happened was, Belle, a while ago, you mentioned something on one of these podcasts, and I was like, I need to get Belle this game. I need to get Belle to play this game.
Yeah, and you gifted me the copy, I think, over Christmas break, maybe?
No, I'm pretty sure I gifted you the copy, as soon as that podcast was over, and then I gifted everyone else the copy over Christmas break when it went on sale. Specifically, the comment you made was, you don't like to see games end. You don't want a game to end. You always want the game to keep going on and on forever.
Yeah.
And that's a major sub-theme of one of the endings of this game. And so I was hoping that you would be able to get there and see that.
So I think I probably have. The initial question is, am I the only one that hasn't officially beaten this game?
I have also not beaten this game.
Okay. Like, I did not beat the game by choice, because it was frustrating me.
Yep.
So instead, I went through and watched several of the endings to see what I was setting myself up for in each case. And I was on a path that if I had beaten it, I was just going to get frustrated with the ending.
Oh, why's that?
Because it felt like a really crummy ending. Like, oh no, you should go back and there's all this stuff that you didn't do, so instead you get a trolley ending.
So, Belle?
Yeah.
First time through, you have to do that fight.
Oh, God. Okay.
And then you can go back and...
And actually, if you, like, when I played through the first time, I played through as pacifist the first time that I played, and got that ending, and then you can go back, and you don't actually have to replay the entire game to get the next ending.
Yeah, that's what Kojo was telling me today. Which may get me to actually try and beat the game, but, like, I kind of bum rushed this game yesterday, and at that point I was just frustrated and I wanted to throw my laptop across the room.
Sorry. So let's talk about this, because this is the combat system here. And the combat system, I really, but I know I am not necessarily, I understand it can be frustrating. Basically, you are encountering enemies, you have the option fight, act, item, or mercy. If you fight, and fight them till they are dead, or if you act, try and figure out what's bothering them, or what will get them to just end the conflict peaceful one way or another. And
admittedly, like, I love the concept of that. I liked the interaction with the characters. I loved the story. I did not necessarily like the gameplay.
What I liked about the combat was, in a lot of ways, the characters showed themselves in their own attacks. Like, and the way you interacted with those attacks were sort of dealing with character in a specific way. And the humorous example I love is Tsundere Plane.
Yes.
Who...
So, the first Tsundere Plane I fought was, I think, my second game. Or, probably not second game. One of my early game overs.
Okay.
Because, unless you figure out what stack pattern is doing, it's kind of hard to dodge all of the bombs.
Yup. But notably, those bombs don't appear if you use approach.
True. Use approach, you have to get close, but not too...
Right, and that's exactly what you have to do with the planes themselves. Get close, but not too close.
Until the Tsundere Plane blushing end is sufficiently been dealt with as the anime trope would demand.
My favorite one is the vegetoid guy who...
Eat your greens.
You have to eat your green. Like, that was really early on in the game, and that was the first time that I really got keyed in on, like, hey, this is really doing some different thing.
I don't remember the name of it, but it's the urinal. It's what I thought of as the urinal that you have to clean yourself in.
It's a washer.
Washwa?
Yeah, it looks like a urinal to me.
It's got a little bird inside.
Oh, okay.
It's a rubber ducky.
Washi was actually first game over. First one of those I encountered.
Yeah, I just like, okay, let's try this. Well, basically, I was doing pacifist, so I was always going to try the various options that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
I really like the mermaid horse guy looking thing that you have to have the flex off with.
Aaron,
yes. And
Aaron.
you flex him off the screen.
Yes. Or do some other stuff. Like, if it's Aaron in Washwa, you can actually, like, shoo him off. Like, tell him to shoo, go away, and he'll, like, run away. But he also, like, oh man, so did you guys do the Shiren fight?
Yes.
So, if you tell Shiren, if you use Smile, it's really creepy because it's like, you tell Shiren to cheer up and ask her to smile. It's like, she seems uncomfortable with you. Aaron nods sagely from the corner. I was like, oh, that's really gross, actually, and I'm glad that it's telling me that that's really gross.
Yeah, I don't even remember what action made Shiren feel better.
Humming.
To her.
Okay, yeah.
And if you keep humming, she will continue to, like, amplify her song until, like, there's this whole little story where you and her become international, like, pop sensations, and Sans is selling tickets to your guys' concerts, and then finally you have one, like, farewell tour to go on before you go your separate ways.
Wow. Yeah, I only sang long enough to be able to Mercy.
There are a lot of fights that can go well beyond Win Mercy in interesting ways.
Actually,
The lesser dog comes to mind.
it actually drives home what I don't like about the game is that it is very gleeful about its shitty messaging in a lot of places, and like there's no indicating that at any point ever that you shouldn't just end fight when.
Yeah.
And so, as a result, there's a lot of content that the game gives you it gives you a lot of not so subtle hints that there's no reason to kill a fight beyond the point where you can end it.
I'm actually not bothered by that because when you beat the game, if you do get the passives and get the full credits, it will let you know which fights you could have done more in.
Oh, does it?
Have white text instead of.
Oh.
That's
Huh. That's really cool.
The one place that shitty messaging bugged me the most was the Asgore fight, because I went through trying not to look anything up and trying just to play through it and get pacifist ending because I knew it existed, and I had no idea for a very long time that I actually had to fight him.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I was frustrated, and I finally looked it up.
I decided not to look it up. I just decided that's all I can do, so I might as well do it.
Well, like, I didn't want to screw it up. Like, I didn't want to screw up the pacifist ending by attacking, so I went on for freaking ever trying not to fight. And then I finally like, okay, this is not working at all. So
It breaks your mercy button at the start of the fight. That's the hint.
okay.
At least for me it was.
I just thought I had to get to some condition and it would come back.
Yeah,
Well,
I
it
mean,
does.
considering everything else in the game, that was kind of frustrating.
Well, there's lots of bosses that screw with your stuff, like,
True.
I'm thinking of the spider boss where you have to do the upward climb thing that flips the screen a little bit.
You're suddenly playing Tempest?
Yeah. Like, that was the norm at that point. Like, every boss seemed to do something weird.
Every boss does kind of do something weird, other than Toriel and Asgore. Like, if you think about it, Papyrus turns you blue.
Well, Asgore totally does something weird, too, with his strikes.
Oh, yeah. But he doesn't turn your heart nod.
Right.
Even then, these new mechanics you've seen before, he just tells you what they're going to be, and you don't have time to actually see when he's executed.
Right.
So,
The first time I saw orange attacks was actually from a random enemy, way before I saw the lasers, so I got a little more.
oh, Pyrope? Was it Pyrope?
It was Pyro.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that guy is...
Yeah, Pyrup was my one and only game.
Oh, wow. I had game overs.
I also had lots of game overs.
Yes, many, many game overs.
Which is honestly part of the frustration that okay, so this is the reason why I don't like the bullet hell combat system. Is I actually like bullet hell shooters. Like, I've talked about liking bullet hell shooters, but as I talked about in my blog this morning, in a bullet hell shooter, I'm not invested in it. Like, it is meaningless to me to lose a ship and have to start over. Like, there's no deeper investment here. Whereas in an RPG, you're always losing progress. Like, some sort of progress. Even if it's just a screen away, it feels like something more is on the line than just plugging another quarter in and restarting.
I really didn't do that latest part. Well, for the most part, most of my game overs were in boss fights. So, didn't make it that time. Guess I could try it again.
And I had some game overs and random encounters, and if I was several screens away from the last save point, I just had to backtrack and re-talk to people, and that stuff gets maddening after a while.
Yeah, I can do that. This was actually... So one thing that I normally don't do a lot of in JRPGs that I did a lot in this game was using my inventory. Like, this game made me care about every little health region, because health did not come back as quickly as I necessarily needed it to.
I had a bunch of items that I really had no clue what their purpose was.
Oh, like what?
Like the tutu. I had no clue what the tutu was for.
Oh, it was armor.
It's armor.
Oh, okay.
As far as I know, it had no other purpose.
I mean, other than they will comment on you wearing it at a certain...
Yeah, I was totally wearing it, like, just for the hell of it. And there were a couple other weird items that I picked up that I was wearing.
There are a couple of weird items that also do some specific things that aren't necessarily super intuitive, like the stick.
Yeah.
It's the item you start with, and in your weapon slot. But once you de-equip it, you have it in your inventory. And if you use it against a doll, you play fetch, and then they're happy and will give up.
Apparently also used against Metaton,
It can be
which
used
would boost
against...
ratings.
What does Metaton do with it?
Catches it in his teeth, of course.
Of course.
One of my favorite screams is the Metaton, I think it was Metaton's bomb trap, where one of the bombs is a dog.
It's an annoying dog.
It's just happily spinning around on the rope.
Yes.
That's their Papyrus' trap.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's
Use the
Papyrus'
annoying dog
trap.
in their
That
traps.
annoying dog shows up a lot because that is the representation of Toby Fox.
Oh my god, so I totally screwed up at one point where I was retrieving some artifact and it said I had too many dogs in my inventory. So I removed the dog from my inventory and it absorbed the artifact.
Listen, that is not you screwing up. That is you getting trolled, the game's creator.
And then I had dog residue and I tried to use the dog residue and it filled the rest of my inventory slots.
Listen, it goes everywhere.
Like, the thing is like, okay, I'm frustrated with this game, but there's a lot of it I really liked. I just didn't like the gameplay itself. I love the story. Like, if I could have just roamed around talking to these people forever and never having to go into combat, I probably would have been happy with the game.
I feel like if you can get past the neutral end, you should do the pacifist ending, because the end of the pacifist ending is just that. Like, the entire world opens up, all of the random NPCs are available for you to go back and talk to.
So I'm gonna... I don't know whether we want to do this now or in a little while, but I do have some very strong comments about the combat in light of the genocide path.
Oh, go for it.
So, I made it through, the normal and the pacifist ending, and there are some frustrating parts. I think the spider boss is probably the roughest for me, but I, spent some time with it and got through it, and I could appreciate, it was entertaining. It was starting to get frustrating. But I decided when you chose the game for the podcast that I would go back and genocide path. And maybe we can talk about the story of it later, but the mechanics of it were kind of atrocious. And I guess that's sort of the point. Boy, you really have to be determined. And there's a lot of boredom in sort of running around, because as you kill monsters, you encounter fewer monsters. And so there were times where I was running around for about 20 minutes before I encountered a monster so that I could meet the quota and move on to the next section. So that's one piece. And then the other piece is that most of the combat completely trivialized. Meet a monster and completely murder it, and most of the bosses early on are that way too. And
then you hit Undyne?
And then you hit Undyne, and then I spent several hours on Undyne, and then I give up.
Yup. There are only 2 challenging fights in that mode.
Yep.
And Undyne is probably the easier.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that. Like, I had already watched, the playthrough of it on YouTube, so I knew what I was getting. And I feel like if I had spent some more dedicated time on it, I could have gotten past Undyne. But I don't think I could have gotten past Sans, and it wasn't with it anymore.
So, I've seen the Undyne fight, and it took me a long time to get past Undyne, because I thought you had to challenge her.
Oh no.
But you can do this. You
Yes,
can challenge her
I did that
repeatedly.
on this playthrough. I was like, oh, that was not a good idea.
Yes, her attacks keep getting faster.
Yes.
You can keep doing that way. Did not realize you were not supposed to until, well, got through her entire fight on what is functionally max speed.
Wow.
I think she definitely took me the most tries of all the bosses.
That's very impressive, actually.
Yeah.
So what I tried something like that, only what I did was I let her beat me up by ignoring her advice at the beginning. So, like, she tells you face things head on, and she attacks you directly head on. And if you just let her hit you the entire time and don't block attacks for, like, 3 in a row, finally she'll be like, fine, I wanted to do it the nice way, but no, this is stupid, I'm just gonna kill you, and goes in turbo mode. And then I started challenging her, and it did not go well for me. But yeah, Undyne the Undying is, like, Undyne the Undying and Sans are there to be like, you really shouldn't be doing this. And kind of like the point of genocide mode, you really shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, and, like, I totally get why it's set up that way, but, it's also just sort of frustrating that there's no way for me with my old lady reflexes to get through that. Like, it's just, like I said, maybe Undyne with, another hour or two of staring at it and tearing my hair out. But then knowing that the Sans fight was still coming up, I totally gave up.
I'm fairly certain would not be able to do the Sans fight.
Yeah.
The game has a really unsubtle bit of commentary about the concept of being a completionist. I think that's interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think it's...
I mean, because I just actually watched the side playthrough again today because I couldn't actually complete it, and I mean, it comes right out, and it's like, so you thought that you could do this thing, so you felt like you had to, and that isn't really a great idea.
It's like, you're not evil, you're just bored. And so by being bored, you're committing all of these atrocities because you can must. I really like the, like, creepy, after you beat that, like, the second soul inside of you comes out and is like, that feeling you get every time a number goes up, every time attack, gold, XP, LV, that's me. Like, I'm your dark side, feeding your desire for the numbers to go up.
That thing makes a really creepy face.
Makes a very creepy face. But, so, I was playing through this game again, and so you sort of have, the story of the game kind of involves this dual-natured character, where you have sort of a character who is both the human that you see, and is sort of the spirit of the first human that fell. And that first human, that's the name that you pick. And all throughout the game, you hear Asgore's voice at various points calling out to you, and then Flowey's voice calling out to you as your other character's name. And it's sort of like memories or something is going on that's interesting. Like, if you go up, if after Toriel goes downstairs, you go back to bed, you'll have this, like, dream sequence where you can hear Asgore's voice telling you, whatever name you picked, you are the future, you are the hope of monsters and humans. Wake up. And then when you fall onto the golden flowers, you hear Flowey or Azrael saying, talking to you as you, the first human, fell the first time, and he is coming up to help you. So there's this weird, like, your character has both of these souls inside of them. And that's sort of the pacifist versus genocide route, is which soul takes root.
Okay, so question. What characters annoyed you?
Sans annoyed the heck out of me. Yep.
Really? I love Sans.
I like the pirates fine, but Sans, I don't know. Everyone probably hates me for this, but I really didn't like Sans.
I like Sans, but God, I could not stand the doctor.
Alphys?
Alphys, yes. She drove me up a wall.
I'm a little bit Alphys, so she annoyed me too at first, and then it was like, oh yeah, a lot of the MC here and a lot of insecurities, and I understand where you're coming from now.
I think that was the point, but it always seemed like she was messaging me at the wrong time.
Yeah,
She's
very socially awkward. Like
I got
the
a
only
little
character I
frustrated
think
with the Undyne fight, because I guess I was doing it wrong, turns out. But I don't think any of the characters actually annoyed me. Closest, I think, was probably Papyrus.
Papyrus cracked me up and probably would annoy me if I were around him a lot, but...
You can call him in almost every room and get some dialogue from him.
Yeah, I didn't ever do that.
And then after you make friends with Undyne, both he and Undyne will comment on what's going on.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And a lot of that's really funny.
Like, I honestly forgot the call thing was even available. Most of the time, I rarely ever used it.
So after you the pacifist ending, Toriel learns how to text you.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's really funny.
Like, I would have been perfectly fine just staying with Toriel the entire time.
She would have probably been okay with that too.
But the problem is, like, there wouldn't be much of a game.
I have to say, like, when I started my genocide run, like, that was the hardest things, like, going to home and knowing I was going to have to kill her. Like, I was pretty sad. And
Kill her.
no, for the genocide run.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was, like, the hardest part. And then, like, it weirdly, I think this is one of the places where the like, I understand sort of the rationale behind the way the genocide run plays out, but it fell flat for me because, like, I was emotionally invested at that point, and I was really sad when I killed her. And then just, like, the soul-crushing medium of finding all of the monsters to fight to kill them all, and then the pain of, like, doing, you know, the Undyne fight, I stopped caring. Then I was like, fuck this, I hate this game, I hate all these monsters, just screw everything.
Toriel, my first player, Toriel, was the only person I killed. And when asked, I was like, no, I don't feel bad about it.
Sans who asked us, right?
Yeah. And was like, do you regret anything? I'm like, no, not really. It's like, okay, as long as you can live with yourself. Like, yeah. I was being kept prisoner. No, not okay.
But she made us, like, die.
Hooray. Like, no information and I'm a prisoner? How about no? I don't care how lovely your velvet mailed fist is.
I definitely killed Tor very first time and was, like, horrified by this. And because I knew I could pass it, I did not want to, so I immediately reset the game, and that's when I realized that just because I hadn't saved doesn't mean the game didn't. Because at that point, I had the ability, like, Toriel's like, hey, why are you looking at me that way? It looks like you've seen a ghost. And when you talk to her, it's like, you want to tell her that you saw her die before your eyes, but you couldn't think of the way to say it.
Game does save for you in a number of places.
Yes.
The Asgore fight, if he kills you and you talk to him again, you can tell him that, hey, you killed me, or you killed me twice, or you killed me 3 times. He will just nod his head.
was why I was so careful with everything, is because, like, that was one of the first comments the coder made, was the way the game held everything you ever did against you. And I knew there wasn't really a way to reload and start clean.
Oh,
For
there
the
is.
most part, can start with sort of exception.
Well, you can delete the save case.
And that's not enough.
Yeah, I was about to say. So, the one exception is if you ever complete a genocide run, it will put files deep into your computer. So it always knows you completed genocide run. And you will never be able to do a true, full pacifist run. You will get a different ending. Because you have tainted yourself by doing that. Like, the end
Other
of the
than
genocide run is you kill yourself, and then when you reload the game, it's just a full screen. And you have to wait a couple of minutes before it's like, oh, you're still here? What are you doing? Why do you want to go back? Alright, if it's that important to you, if you give me your soul, I'll let you go back.
Like, I assume this is all part of the first Flowery ending, but, like, once I got to Flowery, the game crashed completely, and I had to relaunch the client, and when it relaunched, it was all glitchy.
He does that.
Okay.
Yup. Because he's taken control of the ability to load and save the game. Oh, that was another really cool thing I noticed. All of the souls that he uses to attack you, if you notice what they're doing, the first soul is attacking you with a knife. The second soul is attacking you with, is it ballet shoes? The third soul is attacking you with, like, a book. And then what I realized
Weapons
is
you can get.
they're all the items you get. All of the equipment that you wear are the remnants of what was left over by the previous 6 children.
That itself is disturbing.
Wow.
That they've
Yeah,
been
I never
killing
realized that.
children to try and break the barrier.
Yeah, and Toriel kind of calls Asgore out on it. Like, hey, even if you really wanted us to be free, you could have taken one soul, merged it with yourself, gone through the barrier, and killed 7 other people. Yes, but you're just too much a coward. You'd rather wait for children to come in, and hope that they never do. So you don't have to kill them.
But that's the other thing that I never quite understood. Like, why are only children falling through? Is it ever explained?
No, presumably because adults know not to it.
Or maybe the crack is too large for an adult to fall through?
As far as I know, that's never actually explained.
It's not actually explained. Yeah, I was gonna say, Grace, I know a lot of like Sans, but I think people like Sans because he's like this weird sort of ultra powerful entity that exists in the game and they're interesting.
Well, like, I totally thought it was badass when he told me that he could have taken me down at any point. He was just watching me to see if I stepped out of line, essentially.
Well, he made a promise to Toriel.
Right.
But it's interesting, you'll notice he never actually goes the way he says he's gonna go. Whenever he walks off screen, he walks off in the wrong direction, still appears wherever he needed to be. Because he just sort of teleports everywhere, I guess?
Yeah. Shortcut.
There's definitely some points, at least 1 or 2 points in the genocide run where he just teleports right in front of you, like he spears.
I think in a normal playthrough, he never does it quite in front of you, just not where he's supposed to.
Well, but at the same time, there's a lot of cases where he's teleporting you at the same time. When he takes his shortcuts, like when you go to dinner with him.
Yeah. When you're going to Grovies. It's not the right direction, you get there anyway.
But yeah, Belle, the reason why I wanted you to play this game, in the very last fight, Flowey, who is in the form of Azra, King's son, basically says, it's like, I don't want this, it's like, you can't win. because this is a game, and when it's over, don't play with me.
Yeah,
It's
I've
like
seen that line.
it's like this is the realization the game is like understands I have a finite ending coming up, and I don't want that to happen because I don't want it to end. And it's like that resonated. That's what sort of made me think I'd like to see Belle play this game. Because the game also doesn't want to be finished with it.
And that aspect's kind of cool. Like, I kind of like that the game is somewhat sentient and is playing with me at the same time as I'm playing with it.
There's a lot of the game specifically messing.
Yeah.
Regardless of what format you would prefer to interact with it. Because if you watch a genocide run, probably near the end calls you out for watching a genocide run.
Yep.
Yes.
There's probably someone right now watching because they couldn't do it themselves. Yeah, that was. I think I talked about this before and talked about Undertale. That like the game definitely judges you, and even when you're not playing it, it's still judging you. And that was a very specific example of that.
I like it. I like a lot of what I like about it. It gives. I hesitate to say that it gives you a bunch of verbs because it kind of doesn't, but it also sort of does. Like,
The verb it gives you talk.
yeah,
In the guise of a whole bunch of other things.
but it makes that interesting.
It is more than just use my 18 charisma to get out of a fight,
Yeah,
which is the sort of talk you get in a lot of other RPGs.
yes, and it's definitely not doing that. And I appreciate that's like talking is gameplay. Talking isn't an escape. It's not a cheat.
It's a game the game I play is a game I feel good about. After I'm done, I feel like I don't feel unwell as I'm playing this game. I'm not resolving everything with violence. And
I
like
think the game absolutely makes you feel uncomfortable. It's just a matter of in what way.
I really expected to feel uncomfortable doing a genocide run, and I was somewhat annoyed that it very quickly devolved into boredom and frustration more than anything else.
yeah, I think a lot of the YouTubers that genocide runs intentionally cut out most of the frustrating bits because they know that's not going to get them good hits. And so
When I watched fast forwarded through all of the repetitive random encounters that you have to get into.
yeah. And so, like, it sort of takes away from the tedium and frustration that genocide sort of induces on.
Crushing banality.
So, Thalen, I'm curious, how far did you get?
Not very far, through a combination of life getting very busy and irritating control problems that I think I finally solved by turning the analog sensitivity and the analog sensitivity all the way down.
Huh.
Because basically the game would just randomly make me go left while walking around, while fighting a battle.
I've seen that.
I was about to say, I stopped using the thumbstick and started just using the D-pad.
Oh, even if I was just D-pad, it would happen.
Weird.
Yeah,
It was
I
like
played it
the
entirely
thumbstick
with
was so
keyboard
sensitive
and mouse
that
for that reason.
Yeah, like I couldn't, and I tried doing keyboard and just couldn't do it, and so I killed and restarted the game on more than one occasion after walking off a screen. I wasn't done talking to people and lost more than one battle because, I would move and then move directly into a bullet. And so basically, I have reached Greater Dog and have not been Greater Dog. So not very far.
Got it.
What I have played of it, I like the writing and amused by things like the first dog in a little house flipping the hell out with happiness with pet him.
Oh, it's amazing.
I think that was the best thing ever. and blowing the dog couple's minds with the knowledge that a dog can pet another dog. So I do want to play more, but on the other hand, I am a little bit there with Bell that the bullet hell portion of the battle system frustrates me. I wish that it could just be a game of trying to figure out the proper verbs in proper order without, trying to dodge bullets with only 20 health, because of course I'm not going to murder him because I'm not a monster.
So, I don't know if Bell did this. There are a couple of tricks to the game that you can pick up that will sort of make the bullet hell less important. There is a place where you can go and get armor that is supposed to trivialize the game. Like, that's what it's sort of designed to do.
Right.
And it's the Timmy Village, which is a hidden area.
I never got to find it. Like, I was rushing through, and I saw the question mark, and that whole sequence that you're leading up to the Timmy Village was kind of annoying. So,
I was actually really frustrated in that area.
I was just trying to get
into it by mistake.
I was just trying to get through the game in time for this podcast.
If you get enough money, you can send Timmy to college. And when she comes back, she will give you scholarship, which is basically every time you die, she will reduce the cost of the Timmy armor. So it's sort of okay, here's a way for you to get past what you're frustrated with.
No, I didn't ever find that, but I totally would have used it. Because, the dialogue portion of this game is awesome. Like, I love the characters, other than, maybe the doctor who annoys me. I love Onion Sand. Onion Sand cracked me up.
That was just weird.
Onion Sand, the giant squid.
Oh, Onion Sand, yes. Yes.
That was very weird.
He's got an idea for a band. It's going to be called the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He doesn't know how to play music. All he really has is the name. Do you think he's going to be popular?
Yeah, I absolutely love the writing and all the little gags when you look at things, and all of that.
A lot of those actually reminded me of Game Boy RP Imagination. It had a lot of weird things in the writing with certain objects.
Huh.
Specifically, the sequence right before Greater Dog reminded me a lot of that game.
I mean, in a lot of ways, this game reminds me a lot of classic adventure games.
Yes.
If you just diked out the combat portion, you would have something very, very similar to an old school, Sierra or LucasArts adventure game, complete with the gags all over the place when you look at certain things or use the particular verb with a particular thing or what have you.
It reminded me so much of Maniac Mansion.
Yeah.
I would have liked it better as Maniac Mansion.
When Kodro was really excited about this game initially, I played it. I was like, oh, this is like a bunch of games I've played before, but haven't seen in a very long time.
Right.
And that's what I was thinking of when I said that was, like, it's got this sort of, I hesitate to say off humor.
Oh, yeah.
But it's definitely got, like, there's some humor that, there's some stuff that it does that's very similar to Maniac Mansion and other such games.
Yeah.
Comedy adventure is really a genre that's not that widely represented anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of the modern masters of adventure games are doing super serious content, like, I can't think of the name of the studio, but they did the game Gemini Rue, which is a super serious, dark adventure game, and it's cool. But even when it comes to the games like, Walking Dead, that's a super serious game, there's some humor in it. I mean, Sam Max doesn't necessarily count because it's just kind of a retread of the same characters that we've seen before. And same with Monkey Island, the Telltale version of that. It's the LucasArts games revitalized. But
yeah.
There's not a lot of people writing brand new comedy adventure games.
There's a lot of serious, but not a lot of that kind of self-aware funny.
Yeah, that's stuff
a lot
that LucasArts in particular would really well at its
yeah,
height.
LucasArts and Sierra were both doing. And it's one of the things that I think was really lost in kind of collapse of this style of game. Honestly.
Well, back then there was a wide variety of adventure games. Like, there were lots of different styles.
Yeah.
And it seems like only the one style survived.
Yeah.
Yeah, only the super serious are still around.
Yeah, like, it's interesting, because there is Sam and Max Monkey Island from Telltale, but those kind of were fat, because I feel like I played a couple of them and they didn't really get the comedic timing. Like, and I think that's part of it, is comedic timing in a game kind of tricky.
Well, the timing was easier when the player was driving the event, rather than the event kind of just happening.
I suspect also, though, I get this feeling that games have been going through the exact same thing that comic books went through in the 90s and early 2000s, where all of a sudden we're feeling really self-conscious about ourselves, and people don't respect this medium, so we need to be super serious all the time. Fun? What's that? We can't have that.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and I'm feeling like both mediums are starting to finally emerge from that. In both cases, independent creators are a large part of why.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in a lot of cases, Undertale is this resurgence of a kind of forgotten style game.
Yeah, it's sort of that. It's kind of like we went through an adolescence where we used to enjoy fun things, but that's for babies, so we have to be super serious and stuff. And maybe finally we've grown up and become adults enough to realize that no, you can have fun and do whatever the heck you want.
I mean, I remember,
and that's fine.
I remember Space Quest, where not only the narrator, you've got a narrator who's like your voice, who's like the like game voice. Not only is the narrator openly disdainful of the protagonist,
It also actively insulting you.
Yeah, actively insults the protagonist all the time, but also talks to you, the player, fairly frequently. And a lot of times the protagonist will talk to the player about what the narrator is. And it's got a lot of the same timing and feel that the Undertale like game text has.
Well, a lot of those early games really relied on breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
And that's not something that happens that often anymore in games.
And I mean, that's sort of what Sans is always doing, is he sort of is existing there to break the fourth wall.
Right.
And he starts off, like, right at the very beginning, when he tells a terrible skeleton pun. He turns directly to the camera, smiles, and shrugs.
Yeah, and that was the thing that I mean, that's like Roger Wilco's signature move, is turning towards the camera and shrugging. I was like, oh, somebody hates Space Quest. Or like, you know, any of those LucasArts and Sierra adventure games.
Hey,
I missed them.
How painful were the puns in this game for you?
They were tolerable.
They were tolerable.
Reason that I didn't like Sam.
Oh man, his puns were awesome. And nothing made me happier than knowing that he and Toriel were secret friends sharing bad puns.
If you go into her journal, it's like the first thing you get is the journal entry is why didn't the skeleton have any friends? Because he was feeling bony. And then the rest of the text is the rest of the page filled with puns of similar quality. I also really like Papyrus, who actually like puns, but like his brother goes far.
And his love of spaghetti and pasta in general.
It's like pasta. He really doesn't know how to make it. There's actually a conversation in front of one of the elevators where he's talking about ravioli. The treasure chest of pasta. You could fill it with gold or gems. Pasta. And did you ever
I don't
befriend...
think Undyne's much better.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you befriend Undyne and realize that she's the one teaching him how to make pasta, it makes sense.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things conversations or conversation fragments.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes
That was one
those-
part where it was a little sad going genocide run because most of those flowers are just it's strangely silent.
Yeah, but nobody came. After watching a genocide route, when you meet Asgore and he says, "It's a beautiful day out. Birds are singing, flowers are blooming," I still get chills now.
Because Sans has the same opening, but ends it very differently.
Yes, that's how Sans opens his fight with you, and then kills you.
Yup. Actually, and the but nobody came. Also, a snippet of conversation from Flowey, who woke up as a flower and cried out, and nobody came.
It's also the message you get once you have exhausted the random encounters in an area, right?
Right. Yeah. And I mean that's like a level of detail of the game. The fact that it has these multiple routes and all of the writing, conversation, and even the music is different. You start going down the dark path. Like it's very complete.
The
Can we take a
music,
second just to talk about the music in this game?
yes.
It's amazing. I don't even really like tunes for this part. And like it's sort of a weird middle ground.
Mostly chiptunes. Mostly.
Let's say chiptune over a MIDI underlayment.
I'm actually not familiar. So what is a chiptune?
It is a piece of music developed to sound like the low res beep bop old adventure games and early console games.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
On the NES, you had what? 2 triangle waves and a square wave, and noise,
Yeah.
which is used to make drums.
Yeah.
So a lot of music created to sort of emulate that style. This somewhat does that and breaks from it when,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially during boss fights.
especially during boss fights.
Well,
Because the chiptune will transform into a much bigger number.
I basically it's worth noting, I basically didn't for this game until Papyrus. Until the first Papyrus encounter. When his music came, I was like, oh, okay. This game is doing something more interesting than I thought.
the other thing that I noticed as I play this music a lot is a lot of the songs sort of inform each other. Notably, Napstablook, the Mad Dummy, and Metaton before he goes into human form all share very similar elements to them.
Spider Dance is also another version of that song.
Oh, is it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because I was going to say, the other thing is all three of those characters are actually... Like, Napstablook's a ghost, the Mad Dummy is a dummy possessed by a ghost, and Metaton is a robot that has had a ghost built into it as its soul. Until it completes its transformation and becomes its true form. And that fight is hilarious.
This also kind of does this Mario World thing where really there's only like 3 songs here.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, 4. Michael Obang is a song.
Like, I've listened to the Heavensward soundtrack. There's really only 4 songs there, too.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of same themes show up over and over in a lot of them tracks. And then
Undertale...
all of the map themes are the same.
I was going to say,
instrumentation and-
Undertale also showing up. Like, it starts when you first encounter Toriel's home, and then you encounter it again, the statue under the rain, and then every time I hear when I get to New Home, it's that whole segment is just I start to tear up when it does and then the next day, the human died. That whole going through Asgore's home is really impressive sequence for me. And that part, and then the moment where it goes, where you first are fighting Asgore, and you have the whole twilight shines through the barrier, and it seems your journey is finally at its end. You are filled with determination. I have done it a couple of times now, and I always get chills at that moment. I love that. I love that little sequence.
say that the puzzles were entertaining throughout the game.
I felt so very trolled.
From
So
the
very, very
beginning,
troll.
where the rock is like, "Oh, you want me to move? What about this? Oh, you wanted me to stay there while you walked across?"
If you
Yeah.
read the hint in that room, the hint in that room is 3 out of 4 gray rocks recommend you move.
Yes.
Yep.
That is the 4th rock. It does not recommend that you move it.
Really, though, where I felt the most trolled was the colored tile puzzle near the beginning.
Yes.
So, first of all, if you ask the pirates to explain it to you, you don't have to do it.
Yep.
Oh, and he just gets it completely wrong.
Just
It's
get-
hilarious. The
he's wrong
second
the
time,
second
he's like,
time.
wait, what did I say? No, I was wrong.
So wait.
So
if you don't
then,
ask him, if you don't ask him
later
to explain
on
it
in
to
the
you,
game,
do you actually have to do it?
you actually have to
explain
do it.
Oh wow.
Yes, you do.
They're like, you already know the rules, so I'm not going to explain them. Have fun.
So, it is worth noting that at that point, like, Mettaton doing this, his whole, like, I'm gonna kill you, but actually I don't really care thing.
Yeah.
So, like, on the first time, I definitely failed. On the second
failed
time, I was like, you
miserably.
know what? The green tile is what brings you here. I'm just gonna stand here because I know the fire isn't actually gonna kill me. And he was like, wait, you didn't step on any green tile. Whatever, I'm gonna kill you anyways. There are a lot of things that you try and, like, preempt the game if you know what's coming, and the game will probably respond to you. In some little way.
I did sort of look for some of you after playing the game. A lot of the lasers in Hotland that Alphys tells you how to get through, you screw it up, just turn them off.
Because she's just doing this so that she's part of her adventure.
Yes.
Oh man. If Coriel kills you, she gets, like, the most horrified look on her face. It's really
Is that
hard.
actually possible? Because
It's
she got me
possible,
to
but I was-
very low health and all of the fires started going around me.
Yeah.
It is absolutely possible. It's hard. You have to get her to kill you in, like, a single attack, and I think you have to go from, like, 4 health to 0. But she will look just horrified if you die. So, I ran into something today as I was replaying this game. Did any of you guys encounter any monochromatic gray creatures?
I did see that character, yes. I did not offer that an umbrella, so got a much shorter dialogue than you.
So, apparently there are a bunch of these characters throughout. And these are characters that are related to sort of the mystery of the previous royal scientist. Who something happened and now he exists outside of time. Or something. But, like, that's sort of, like, the conversation I got here was, like, when I offered an umbrella, it's like, you know, that does make me feel a little better about, thank you. Please forget about me. Please don't think about this anymore. And then if you leave and come back, he's gone. And there are a lot of weird mystery things going on in this game that people only really discover by data mining the files themselves. And I'm curious what you guys think about mysteries like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about mysteries that you actually have to dig into the code of the game to, like, have a real chance of finding.
Feel about them similar to how I feel about the genocide run, which is like if it's something that requires like, sort of extraordinary measures, whether it's like being ridiculously good at bullet hell to get through these fights, or you know actually data mining to try to find extra information, then it's a little bit unsatisfying.
It's lazy.
Yeah, because I mean, at that
Yeah.
point, it's not me finding, because I'm not going to data mine the game. I don't have. I'm not doing it. So if I find out of these puzzles because somebody else data mined and I found it on the internet, and so I didn't do it. So how does that give me any pleasure or feel of achieving anything?
No.
Google.
I think it takes the same
Yeah.
amount of effort. I think it takes much less effort to build in something you've got to like through some code Google to really find as it does to actually incorporate in the game. And I just think it's a lazy solution. Some people really love them because it's like, oh, this crazy hidden thing that I've got to go to these great lengths to find. But like, I mean, I think it's lazy in the same way Destiny is storytelling.
Yeah. So and that's where I was like, I would rather this be something that I could actually come across in the course of playing the game. But that doesn't seem to have been the case.
It's just, it bugs me because it's the kind of thing that insecure designers put into games so that they can say, oh, people haven't found everything. Because it's super
Well,
expensive.
we already know Toby Fox is a troll.
Yeah, but that doesn't... Doing a lazy thing intentionally doesn't...
So, what was everyone's reaction? I know you briefly mentioned this when, after Asgore, you have Flowey pop up and the game hard crashes.
I thought something had gone wrong. Like, I thought it was an issue with my game. And at first I was like, shit, it's not even giving me the menu to load the game? What the hell? Do I have to start back from scratch? Oh crap, I'm done with this game without escape.
Yeah, I definitely was like, no, that can't be the end, that can't be the end. Like, I thought that was legitimately the end.
Yeah, I definitely freaked out a little.
Oh man, and then Flowey is just so unsettling.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I haven't gotten super far in the game, but the only image I've seen in the game that like actually disturbed was Flowey's face.
Just wait till you see his final form.
I only am.
Yeah. This weird, like, vine, cow skull, television thing.
That definitely freaked me out the first time I was playing also because it's very incongruous with the rest of the design of the game. It's like, what the heck is what just happened?
Okay, that sounds a little he's trying too hard. I have to wait until I actually see it.
Well, the game goes from, like, very 8-bit color palette to now this looks like somebody went nuts with the Deluxe Paint clone tool on the Amiga.
Yeah, like,
It's like 256 colors.
somebody had way too much with clip art here.
Entirely too much fun.
And, like, also, the rest of the game world sort of ceases to exist, so, like, there's no boss for your heart to exist in. Also, he starts saving and loading game, kill you.
He'll save, do an attack. He misses, he'll load again and try it again.
Yes.
He's save scumming. That's amazing.
Yes, he's save scumming against you. If you want to see something that's really impressive, there's, I think, one video of somebody doing a no-hit Omega Flowey run.
I'm not worth the effort.
So, like, the person described it as the hardest thing he had ever done. Like, much harder than a no-hit Sans.
Well, and the thing is, even in the no-hit run, because I watched the same video, your health is still getting decimated, even though you're not getting hit.
No, it wasn't. The one I watched never actually took a hit.
Well, the one I was watching, like, his health bar was dropping, but it was something that Flowey was doing. And he was saying things, and then his health bar would drop.
Oh man, I'll have to find this, but I thought I saw one was actually no hit. And like his yellow bar never dropped. But it's like, it's insane watching it. Because again, he will constantly cheat.
Like, I'm glad that there are people in the world can do things, but I'm also frustrated by a game that makes it mandatory to do some of these crazy things. to progress down a particular path.
Yeah. I if there's a way to make this game sort of an easy mode, essentially. Like, because I would be all for that.
If you are not playing a side run, there is Temi armor, but
Yeah, there's the Temi armor.
if you are playing a genocide run, well, then you can do that.
If you are playing a side run, it really doesn't matter. There's only 2 fights you actually care about, and both of them have... one of them doesn't care about armor at all. Because he doesn't obey
the best
any...
armor
He
in the
only
game
does
right
1
before that
damage,
fight.
and only has 1 defense. The easiest enemy.
Actually, that was his check info.
That's his check info. One attack, 1 HP, the easiest enemy. He will dodge all of your attack, and he doesn't obey invincibility frames. So, yeah. He might only do 1 damage at a time, but he'll do 20 single instances of damage a second.
Actually, 30, the game runs at.
Oh, is it run at 30 frames per second?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Sans is... He's a fight that I do not want to try and attempt.
I did, however, enjoy listening to the music.
Oh yeah, I love the music.
Like that, and even like when I was playing my pacifist run and dying a ton on the spider boss, it's like, well, at least it makes it a little better that I really like music, so dying isn't quite as horrible.
I would have liked Undyne much less if Spear of Justice wasn't such an awesome theme.
Yep.
Spear of Justice is a really good theme. As is, incidentally, I really like... What is it? Ballad of the True Heroine?
Her genocide route theme?
Her genocide route theme?
Yeah, it's really good. Again, it made dying over and over and over again marginally more bearable.
Man, there are some really, like, having watched that, there are some really good variations that San says, like, when he, in the pacifist run, when he's like, hey, my brother's never met a human, could you pretend, it's like, do you mind going along with it? And in the genocide route, he's like, hey, my brother's always wanted to meet a human. Could you keep pretending to be one?
Yeah, the monsters definitely recognize that you are not a human. Like, you are something else and worse.
If you do beat a pacifist run, Belle, I highly recommend going, and it's a long walk, but go all the way back to the beginning, because there's somebody there to talk to you. And I really like that conversation a lot.
Well, since the conversation is starting to wind down a little bit, are there any other major points that we want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Okay, Grace. You are the next pick for the Game of the Month. Why don't you tell the listeners what we'll be playing?
We will be playing Gone Home. So I know we just had a conversation about how adventure games got super serious. Now, maybe this is more of what some people call a walking simulator than an actual adventure game. I don't know. But anyway, this game came out, I think, about 3 years ago now. And it took me a little while before I played it. I played it and I really loved it, and I actually really deliberated whether I wanted this to be the game of the month. And I will talk about that more when we actually have the show for this game. But I decided that I wanted to see what everybody else thought of it.
I will have to play it again.
I have debated as to whether or not I wanted to play this, but this will definitely give me the drive to go ahead and play it.
It's also one of the category of games I've had for quite some time and never actually played. So.
Right, yeah, I've been sitting on it for a while, and I think I have one
So this is yet another game that I've kind of been meaning to play again because I know I did not get the full experience the first time.
So I actually have full complete, and I'm interested in seeing how much of it I remember because it's sort of been a while.
Yeah, I mean, that's another part of the reason why I chose it, because it's been a little while since I played it, and I definitely want to play through it again.
Well, I will have to install that and get to playing. Because my goal this month is not to wait until the last week to try and finish the game.
On the plus side, Gone Home is pretty short.
Yeah, I like that game a lot. I'm really looking forward to it. Unlike Undertale, I am going to play Undertale. I got to the point where the game said, "Please don't ever play," and I said, "Okay, I accept."
That's the point that I got to Undertale as well.
I decided to play again to refresh my...
You are a monster.
I am a monster.
I decided to play again and really be a monster because I could, and the game shamed me for it.
Well, hopefully everyone enjoyed our discussion about Undertale, and we would love to hear some comments from our listeners. I guess you could watch the MP3 roll by. It'd be kind of boring. Anyway, hopefully you will also play along and play Gone Home. Everybody hopefully had a good time, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Good night. Night.